Hello, my name is Nicholl, and thank you so much for taking the time out to listen. Today, I titled this message, What's in it for me? What's in it for me? And some of you individuals have come across people who have basically done some things, and they've done them as long as they receive some type of benefit. And if there was no benefit, then they, well, quite frankly, did not help, did not participate, did not even volunteer service, and not even show gratitude for what others have done for them. As long as I'm not getting anything out of it, then I guess I'm just going to throw the towel in. As long as I'm not getting anything out of it, I guess I'm just going to cause some problems for some people who are not doing A, B, and C and whatever else. These individuals are among us. These are the people who will call you an ingrate. They will say that you are ungrateful. They will say that you have no right asking for anything more. You are an individual who, and then they have a bunch of titles. Some of these people who take these things personally, especially if you ask them to volunteer, if you ask them to help you with something, if you ask them to contribute, if you ask them to belong, some of these individuals, they are disgruntled. Some of them have personality disorders. Some of them are very selfish. Some of them are, let's just be bold and honest, nothing more than minions for Satan himself, children of darkness. Okay? Now, let's look at Satan for a minute. Okay? And what the Bible says. And then I'm going to tie this into the what's in it for me type of folks. 1 Peter 5:8-9 says, Be sober. Be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about seeking whom he may devour, whom resist steadfast in the faith. Now, picture this, an individual who's walking around and they're kind of nitpicking. They got an attitude. They're disappointed for any number of reasons. They don't like the fact that everybody else is doing well and maybe they're not. And then those same individuals who are doing well have the nerve to ask them to do something that they really don't want to do. Okay? People who are unhappy, people who are disappointed, once again, children of darkness, are not going to be gleeful about too much of anything, especially if you are asking them for something. Okay? Satan's minions are enemies of God. Okay? They do not like us. They do not like to be around us. And some of them have been bold enough to say, and I don't want to do for you either. But you're my mother, you're my father, you're my sister, you're my brother, you're my cousin, you're my manager, you're supposed to be there, you're my counselor. I don't care what my title is to you. I'm not going to do in whatever it is that you want them to do. Okay? And you say, well, I've never done anything to cause you to act this way. I don't know why you're being so difficult. I don't know why. You just be quiet. Okay? You don't know what you're talking about. And anyway, here we go again. You always got some requests. It's not an always. I think the last time I asked you for something was like maybe 3, 5, 7 weeks ago. Okay? Well, that's too soon. Okay? These are individuals that if you were to say, okay, well, I need this done, but I'm willing to pay you. Okay, well, how much? You see, what's in it for me? These same individuals are the type of people who, when it comes to, let's just use an example, gift buying, they are not purchasing gifts based on what a person really needs. They're purchasing gifts based on what is economically feasible for them. Okay? That means that if it is something that I like the price point, don't necessarily care if the person really needs or wants it, but I like the price point and I want to look good because I'm showing up with a gift, then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get it. Now, the individual, the recipient who gets that gift may not like it and may say, oh, I mean, this is okay, but I mean, didn't I tell you that I really want it? And now that person who gave them the gift is disappointed because they're saying that you're ungrateful, you're an ingrate, you should be glad, but this isn't what I really wanted. I know, but you know what my situation is. Well, I mean, I know what your situation is, but it would have been better just to save some money to get what I really wanted rather than to give me something that I don't particularly care for or need or even like. You selfish, bleep, bleep, bleep. Okay. Honesty doesn't come across very well, no matter how you say it, no matter how polite, nice, sweet, whatever. People who are about showboating, okay, showing off, being out in the open and seen and look at what I've done. They want you to go along with the act, even if what you receive from them, you didn't like it. But I need for you to go along. I mean, everybody is looking at me and everybody is looking at you, and you didn't react in the way that I wanted you to react. You're such a this and that. Okay. They don't bother to think. They don't bother to communicate either. Some of these individuals, they are so selfish and self-centered and self-absorbed that they are not bothering to do any research. They're not bothering to communicate. They're not bothering to find out what somebody really needs, what somebody really wants. They are always quick to go with what they feel and what they think. Now, how does this look when it comes to spirituality? Well, if I'm talking to the Lord and I'm telling the Lord what I want, what I need, and all of this, and the Lord is willing to help me, however, it has to align with his will, because he's a righteous God. He doesn't endorse or support, okay, wickedness, but yet maybe one of those requests is wicked, okay? God will show us the error of our ways. And then if we don't like the feedback, we don't like what's coming from him, it's no benefit, at least so we think, to us, then what do? We shun God. We don't want to have anything to do with him or the people of God. We don't want to hear the truth. We don't want to hear anything dealing with spirituality whatsoever, because I have made up in my mind that this is what I like, what I want, when I want it, and I'm not concerned about what God thinks. You see, it's the same thinking that goes on with some of these individuals that are supposed to be servicing, supposed to be helping, supposed to be loving. But once again, what's in it for me? The Lord showed me, he said, you got to move yourself out the way. You got to move yourself out the way sometime. You're not going to be in the spotlight. You've got to shine the spotlight on someone else. And sometimes it's going to be a thankless job. Sometimes people are not going to say, I appreciate your efforts. You're very welcome. I like what you're doing. He said that there's going to be times where people are just going to have nothing but negative things to say, or nothing at all. Okay? So you've got to have a tough skin walking this walk. You've got to have a tough skin with some of these personalities that you live with, that you work with. As much as you would love for somebody to put their arms around you and say, I love you, I appreciate you, I'm so grateful for you, there are going to be those individuals that's not going to do that sort of thing. And so we just pray for them. We put them in God's hands. Okay, because you see, a lot of times the enemy is with these individuals. They're jealous. They are, as I said earlier, self-centered, self-absorbed. These are individuals who don't like you for any number of reasons, or like who you associate with, or don't like your talent, or don't like your skill. They're very critical. These are people who are not going to be happy when you're happy. You can even feel the tension come from them. You open up a gift and then you look over and they're kind of rolling their eyes, or they're looking elsewhere because they're not in the spotlight. But then if you were to trade places with them and put them in the spotlight, and some people do this because they see how jealous they are and they want to just make them feel good, right? So they put them in the spotlight. Next thing you know, they brighten up. Oh, thank you for this gift. Oh, thank you for just showing your appreciation for all of what I've done. I mean, because I've done so many things, and okay. And how long are you supposed to do this with some individuals? Well, the Lord, he has a way of humbling some people, and he will even use us to say, no more. I can't do this anymore. Oh, you can't come to my function anymore? No. Well, I thought that you would do this for me and that for me. No. You see, he will cut us off from some people who, no matter what you say, no matter what you do, it's always about them. It's never about servicing others in a way where there is no benefit. There is nothing coming back to you. Some people will not even sign an agreement or have any type of connection with anyone unless they get something out the deal. Well, I don't know. I don't know if I want to work with her. Well, why? Well, I mean, what is she going to do for me? You see? Or you may be given something, but it's not good enough for them. No, I don't think that that quality of work is worth so much as listening to, much less giving anything. I don't believe that this individual has what it takes. And besides, I mean, what am I going to get from this? You see, there are some individuals that they won't even do basic household chores, won't even take care of their household, take care of their family or anything else unless somebody says something to make them feel good. Unless somebody comes along and pays them. Yes, we got individuals who pay their own family members to do some of the smallest tasks. Because, well, if I don't pay him, he's not going to do it. If I don't give her something when she comes over here, she's not going to want to come back. I know for some of you all, you say that's pathetic. That's terrible. I witnessed this sort of thing firsthand. I had an elderly individual, God rest her soul, say that if I don't offer to pay, they're not going to come over here and do anything. If I don't cook anything, they're not going to come over here and help me. If I don't buy for them, they're not going to buy for me. There was always some fine print to some of these folks who was around this individual. There was always something that they were expecting. Okay? And so you may be in a situation like this where you can't seem to get anyone to do too much of anything without having to go in your pocket. Sometimes you might feel like you are just at your wit's end because you can't seem to do too much of anything without someone saying, well, okay, I'll help you, but you going to do something for me though? Sometimes we just want to be able to do some things without having to give any more than what we've already given. Sometimes we just want some help without having to ask any more. How long does a mother have to ask a daughter, or how long does a father have to ask a son for something? And then turn right around and then that son or daughter says, oh, and by the way, what about this? What about that? Sometimes money runs out. Sometimes patience and time and energy runs out. That same individual who said that the only way I can be able to get these people to do is I'm going to have to do, got to a point towards the end of her life where she said enough. She threw her hands up. I don't care to see any of them anymore. If I got to always do something for them, I really don't care then. And I tell you that some of you all, you might be at that place with some of your sons, daughters, grandchildren, what have you. I just can't take it any longer. So as you see this sort of thing unraveling with some of these individuals who they can't move unless there's some type of benefit. They can't move unless they're in the spotlight. They can't move unless they are somehow stroked, their ego stroked. We put them in God's hands. We allow the Lord to deal with them because you're dealing with a spirit of pride with some of these individuals. You're dealing with definitely narcissism. And some of you all, you've done much research and much fasting and prayer about some of these narcissistic, aka self-absorbed, conceited individuals. And you have asked the Lord, Lord, what now? Because I've prayed. And the Lord says, just stand down. Just stand down. There's no sense in arguing with people like this. There's no sense in threatening them or giving them ultimatums because they don't respond that way. Anyway, a lot of these people don't. Instead, what you're going to do is you're going to sit back and you're going to watch and you're going to pay close attention to their weaknesses. And then when you see their weaknesses, I'm going to tell you when to move. Because see, you can use their weaknesses in order to get the things that the Lord has in store for you. I can't give you a step-by-step plan because everybody's situation is different. But once you see those weaknesses, you can use them to your benefit, since we have these individuals who think that they always need to get some type of payment, some type of respect, some type of admiration, some type of title or position. Okay? Because there is those times where nobody's given the accolades. Nobody is given the compliments. Nobody's given too much of anything. There's those seasons, and I have been in them, where there's nothing coming through other than just a thank you every now and again or once in a blue moon. And then sometimes there's those seasons where it's nothing but criticism. You can't do anything right. There's the person on the job that has a problem with you. There's the people at home that have a problem with you. It's the person even at the local neighborhood store or something that's got an issue, right? And as long as they got a benefit of some sort coming from you, then they might stand down with the criticism. But if they're not getting anything from you, sometimes the criticism is amped up. You might be that one who is the parent who is being criticized by another parent. But as long as you're watching their children, as long as you're doing something that makes their life a lot easier in some capacity, then you're okay, you're all right, you're good with me, you see. But when you start saying no, as I've said in other audio, when you start saying no to some things, and when people can't get some type of benefit from you, then that's when you become an enemy. And some of you all, you watch the eye rolls, you watch the deep sighs, and you ask them, is there something wrong? And they say, oh, nothing. Because they weren't getting a benefit when you asked them to do something. They weren't getting something out of it. You see this sort of thing with teenagers and children. Ask them to do something, and here they go with an attitude. But ask them and tell them, oh yeah, by the way, if you do this, I'm going to give you. Oh, okay. And then for some of them, it doesn't matter that you said that, because they're still going to have an attitude. And that's all the more reason not to give them. You see, we see this sort of thing with immature adults. You sit there and you talk to them and you tell them, this is what I need from you. And all the while they're listening. Well, what is she going to give me? What is he going to do for me? I mean, what kind of benefit am I going to get out of this? What's in it for me? Well, there's nothing. I just need for you to take care of the newborn that's in the next room. I mean, that child is your child too, Father. I mean, there's no benefit in this. I just need for you to go in there and do the dishes. And some, you have said, well, there is a benefit. You just ate that meal. Now, can you go in the kitchen and clean up, please? Okay. And there's the attitude that comes over some of these people's faces. It's negative, it's eye rolling, it's deep sighing, it's heavy breathing. And I mean, for what? Just go in there and do what I asked you to do. You see? What's in it for me? The Lord says that this is one of those walks where, for those of you all, I'm sure you probably seen so far since you accepted Jesus as your personal Lord and Savior and walked down the aisle, you've seen where there isn't a lot of thinking going on. If anything, you've made some more enemies, right? There's not too much gratitude being shown because, well, you're around some apostates, some reprobates, some backsliders, okay? They're not happy that you're walking with the Lord. They're not happy that you are one for following the commandments, for doing what's right. They're not just fond of you at all, really. But I tolerate you because of your title, or I deal with you because, well, there's some benefit. You see, there's some benefit. But when you pull back some of those benefits, then what do you have? You have nothing with some of these individuals, and the Lord is moving on some people to pull back on some of those benefits so that you can get to see who this person really is. For some of you all, you're in relationships, new relationships, okay? And you're not able to see who that man or that woman really is because you keep giving them all these benefits. But when you start pulling back some things, you'll get to see who that person really is. There's no more going out to the fancy restaurants. There's no more gift exchange during the holidays. I want to see what this person's really about. You got to test the spirits. And then once you test the spirits, you realize, oh no, this person, all they were doing was taking advantage of me. Or this person really didn't like me as much as she claimed. Or he said that he was going to be there for me. But the minute that I stopped being there for him because I ran into a sickness or because I had some other obligations or what have you, now he's throwing me, out there, or he's ignoring me, or he's forgetting about me, or he doesn't want to call me, or, you see, we have these individuals. Same thing when it comes to the workplace. Stop doing so much. Stop doing 2 and 3 and 4 people's jobs and watch how fast people start having an issue with you. And some people, that's why they continue to do these sorts of things, because they put themselves through so much stress to maintain a certain image or to keep the enemy at bay. The Lord's not going to put no more on you than you can bear. But you will, because you want to keep those benefits going for some individuals to keep them off your back. But if you trust in the Lord, you don't have to work yourself to death. If it's meant for you to be there, you'll be there. And then you'll say to yourself, I should have stopped doing these things a long time ago. Wow, my life is so much easier. Wow, I'm able to get more done. Wow, I have less stress. You see? Sometimes we put all these worries on ourselves because other people put those worries on us. If you stop doing this, you know what's going to happen. Oh, if you stop doing all these things for him, ooh, he might not want to do this, that, and the other. Well, let's just see. Then you find out all of what somebody done said isn't even right. Didn't even come to pass. So no more what's in it for me. No more of that sort of thing. If you are guilty as charged, always looking for some kind of benefit, stand down, sit back, relax, do some things as God wills without expecting any type of accolades, appreciation. Do some things without expecting some kind of benefit. And for those of you all who you've been giving so much to so many people and you feel like it's starting to put a lot of stress upon you, take back some of them benefits. Stop spending all that money. Stop celebrating every single holiday. Stop getting around all these individuals and feeling like you got to do so many different things for them. Distance yourself a bit, and then you'll get to experience some inner peace. So I hope that you really consider what I've said today in Jesus' mighty name. Remember, we do have an enemy, and that enemy is just walking around seeking whom he can devour. And he is devouring a lot of people through these selfish, ungrateful, bitter type of folks who have nothing better to do than to criticize because they are not where you are spiritually, because they are not growing like they should be, because they are reprobates, they are apostates, they are backsliders. All of these types of individuals are people who have fallen away from the Lord. And when they have fallen away from the Lord, they quite naturally want some folks to join them. Misery loves company. And if they can't get you to join, then they're looking for how they can benefit from you. So don't give the enemy a stick to crack your head with. Continue to walk according to the will of the Lord. I thank you as always for taking time out of your busy schedule to listen. You've been listening to YouTube NM Enterprise 7. If you have yet to check the description box, please do. There might be some benefit, some benefit to you. Also, if you haven't given, we do welcome donations, which is some benefit to me and blessings. And if you are just simply wanting to do something that's just will benefit you personally, and you don't want to have to jump through hoops, okay, to get some of these benefits, I would suggest that you pray specific prayers to the Lord, okay? The kind of prayers that detail exactly what it is that you're after, okay? And get it in a righteous way as opposed to manipulating people. God will also give you a plan, okay? So for some people, you're going to need a strategic plan in order to get whatever it is that you feel you need. And God, he does help with that. I'm a witness. So do take the time out to pray. And for others, you might want to not just pray, but fast too. That means abstain from some of your favorite goodies. Okay. Maybe do away with a meal or two so that you can get some answers from the Lord. Well, blessings to you.